Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing."
Oh my goodness, what a bombshell. Cassidy Hutchinson relating a story that she heard from somebody who heard it from a friend that the president was involved in, and so on and so on and so on. The media thought this was incredible. I saw right through it. She was giving third-hand testimony. Former aide to Mark Meadows. The fake news did go crazy in a positive way. You know, they loved her. Take a look.
Cassidy Hutchinson was an exemplary witness who demonstrated remarkable courage and character.
Cassidy Hutchinson made a brave choice today. She was a great witness. She was absolutely precise. She was just brilliant.
Cassidy Hutchinson, who was very brave to come forward today.
Cassidy Hutchinson was a name and face unknown to most Americans. By the end of the day, she'd made history.
Oh, wrong fake news. And thank you to the Daily Caller. Another fascinating story. Cassidy Hutchinson begged senior Trump officials for financial assistance after being subpoenaed by the J6 committee, one she called a BS committee. We thank Henry Rodgers, the senior congressional correspondent at the Daily Caller, who joins us now. Henry, fantastic story, and welcome back to Newsmax. How are you?
Hey, Greg, I'm great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, look, this should totally change the narrative. The media fell in love with their story. They pretended it wasn't hearsay. Thank you for your story. So tell us who Cassidy Hutchinson is really.
Well, you know, it turns out every senior Trump official who I've talked to in the story and otherwise about Cassidy Hutchinson seems to have the same conclusion on her, and that is that she's completely made up everything that she said in public, that she has completely, exaggerated her role in the White House. And the Secret Service has even, come out and said, we will testify under oath. This is not true, what you're saying. So what I've done is I've obtained an email of her reaching out to all of these Trump officials in February of this year. And she is basically begging them all for assistance, legal help, financial help, and all of these things, asking for literally quote unquote financial help. She says her uncle and aunt had to put their house up. And then all of a sudden, Trump's PAC gave her assistance and, things didn't work out. I guess the lawyer didn't like it or however it played out. CNN and whoever, Liz Cheney, I'm guessing, probably dragged in Cassidy, found her a lawyer, and here she is. She's their star witness, and we're all supposed to believe all of the crazy things Cassidy has to say. I just find it really interesting, Greg. I think it's wild what the media has done here and the way they've egged her up and put her on a prop. It's wild.
So the emails that you've uncovered, let's put some of them up. Number one, full screen one. And it says right there, primarily seeking financial assistance. I'm in a bind financially. Next, was hoping you may be able to put me in contact with any fundraising organizations and/or attorneys that are involved in the process. Now, I think it's redacted the person she's writing to, but describe the level of person she's actually. Who is this in Trump world, if you can say?
Right. So I'm not going to name any names, obviously, because I've granted these people anonymity for reasons they were subpoenaed. All the people who I've quoted in this story have been subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. So obviously none of them want their names close to this story. So I got this from a source. I will say this: everyone who's in the story had worked closely with her in the West Wing or just in some capacity with the Trump campaign. They know her well. They have had meals with her, sat down with her, communicated with her a ton. So every one of these people knows Cassidy extremely well, has known her for years, has been working for her, and they've got to see firsthand what she saw. Yeah. And, a lot of these people, Greg, I'll tell you, they were just stunned when they saw her testify. They were like, is this the same girl who was being ordered around? Go get this, go get that, go print my papers off, go get this coffee for me. Now who's claiming to have some of the most damning testimony the January 6th committee has seen yet, that none of it's been proved to be true at all, too, but I guess all the mainstream media has been taking up. It's really interesting to me, Greg, how that's been working.
So you also reported previously text messages that were uncovered. Full screen number 1 to a senior Trump official. Hey, this is Cassidy Hutchinson. Full screen 2. I was subpoenaed in early November, but the committee waited to serve me until last week. And then it goes on full screen 3. I'm on a tight deadline and just trying to figure out what my options are to deal with this BS. BS seeming to be the committee. You know, I'll just also point out, and I love your thoughts on this, other other former aides in the Trump White House, women, by the way, whatever, they seem to be vying for places on The View. 3 of them have secured not just guest appearances, guest hosting spots. We've got the former communications director, 2 of them actually, and Olivia Troy, who worked for Vice President Trump. I feel like she's next in line. Like Cassidy, you kind of demonstrated how she was really down on her luck financially. This is part of the roadmap. You know, you don't just get to be a witness, you get a media career out of it.
No, I couldn't agree more, Greg. I think what she's looking for is a book deal, a CNN contract, or The View, if she's lucky enough to get The View. And that's exactly what she's looking for here. Again, the financial trouble is very damning when it comes to all of this. And the timing in February of just before, this year, this year in February, she's talking about how much financial trouble she's in. Her uncle, her aunt having to refinance their house, having trouble with that. So I find it very interesting, the timing and how you flipped so hard from being a loyal Trump supporter who was going to go down and work for Trump in Mar-a-Lago after the White House. And then it turns out they didn't want her. And now it turns out she's just spinning off the wheels and kind of making up things, it appears.
And as we wrap up, if we could show the note that she says she wrote. I am not a handwriting expert. I'm not a graphologist. But she said this was her handwriting. There is no way in the world a woman wrote that note. And we now have it from another attorney, Hirschman, I believe. He says it was his writing. So we know. I am totally convinced she was consciously lying. But to be continued. Henry Rodgers, thank you. And thanks to everybody at the Daily Caller. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it.